fell. Oh, well. You ready to continue?
Yes.
Alrighty. One uno momento. I'm going to run an ad, and then we'll get going. Boom. And welcome back to Hour 3 of the How to Do It Marathon. Alongside...
There's 9 more to go.
Well, you know.
Well, 10. It's just beginning out.
True.
10 more to go. Alongside Maluku Saito and Nash Bozard, I'm Jason Pilara. Gentlemen, I needed that run to the bathroom. I apologize.
Folks, if you are not going to be able to be near your computers for today, or you know someone who isn't, or you've got to go away later, but you still want to listen to us, that's okay. We have an option.
We do.
If you have your mobile device, your iPhone, your Android phone, or even a laptop computer with wireless, for your iPhone or your wireless, or your iPhone or your Android phone, go to your app store and get the Live 365 app. Then just search for Radio Dead Air, and you'll be able to listen to us live streaming audio only. So you'll be able to take us with you in your car or out and about. And if you're got your computer with you, go to live365.com, and again, search for Radio Dead Air, and you'll be able to find us there too. So we're simulcasting, so if you don't have access to a fast enough stream to do video, that's okay, we got you covered.
Yes, we do. We've got you covered everywhere. And if you want to jump in on the Mumble server to listen in, you could do that as well. LordCat.com is the Mumble server IP address, domain name. You had a custom server. We are not publicly broadcast on the great list of Mumble servers because that's stupid. And if you have a question, you want a live call, and go ahead and message the Mumble chat room with your question. Go ahead and message the Root chat room, not me directly or anyone else directly, with your question. And, if we deem you worthy, we'll unmute you and ask you. Now,
and if you want to test your microphone, ask somebody here.
Yeah, there is a test room. Okay, ask someone here to help you in the test room, please. Test your microphone out first. Make sure it's working. We have questions to ask. We have questions that have been asked of us, and we have answers for them, I think. The next one comes from me123. He has a question about revitalizing a PC. I've borrowed, quote-unquote, my brother's computer. It's been about 2 years, and I might need to revive this baby to have better performance. It has Windows 7 official, Core i3 550, Radeon 5450, 4 gigabytes of memory, and a gateway motherboard.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, still, that's at least somewhat recent stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the i3 550 and the Radeon 5450, not the worst out there, but certainly a generation or two behind right now.
Yeah.
4 gigabytes of memory, I'd like to upgrade that to 8, but the problem all lies in that gateway motherboard. What motherboard is it, and what are its specs? I don't know what its specs are. I don't know what type of memory it needs. I can guess, I can estimate, but I don't even know if you have a dedicated video card or if that's the onboard 5450.
Is that a low-end card, the 5450?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It seems to be. It may be that onboard 5451 that instead of using Intel or Nvidia, maybe using the AMD onboard video.
Obviously, like you said, the first place to start on this is RAM.
The first place is reinstall Windows.
No, the first place is to figure out what the hell the specs of this motherboard are.
Yeah.
We seem to have a disagreement here.
Okay.
I'm
willing to bet this motherboard can handle 8 gigs.
Oh, I'm willing to bet it can handle 8 gigs, but what type of memory? How fast?
Well, pull the memory out, look at the memory, and if it says PC2 or PC3 on it, then you know it's DR2.
Well, but here's the thing though. It's gateway. Are they even gonna have a sticker on it that says that?
Well, if not, pull out the memory and try to.
I would say you know what? Actually, doesn't Crucial make a software for this?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, CPU-Z.
Yeah, is it CPU-Z?
Well, that'll work too.
CPU ID, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we could definitely use that, and we could get a little more specs out of this. You could certainly upgrade the processor, the memory. As far as the graphics card is concerned, you're gonna have to see if you have a PCI Express slot there, if it's currently being taken up by an actual 5450, or if it's the onboard 5450.
But that
And then-
replace it if you have a PCIe slot, that's another easy way to get some another performance boost out of it. Is just put in a modern graphics card.
Yeah.
Even a low end one will beat the pants off that 5450.
But I suspect with the Core i3 that this is a very upgradable machine. At least,
And you could even, in theory, replace that Core i3. You might have to eBay and look for a what's the i5 that was in the same series as the 5550?
I don't remember. I really don't remember. That's going back.
I shall look.
Yes, so good. I have to look it up. I don't recall at all. I do apologize.
Hey, is
Kinda
everybody
getting
having a good?
confused, but
Everybody having a good Christmas?
yes, we're doing a show right now.
Who was that?
That is an idiot. I've talked to him about being stupid before, but he refuses to listen to me. So
Apparently not no auto mute if somebody joins.
apparently not.
Let me see. Where is? What generation is this? Damn it!
Yeah.
Intel.
It's the Intel. It's
model
the
numbers.
it's the 550, not the 5550.
550. Is it? It's the first generation.
Remember,
Yeah.
it just says Pentium and a number. Or what it
Okay,
was.
so it's the. It would be the i5. Which
The Clarkdale,
Back-
isn't it?
yes, Clarkdale. So it would be the i5.
LGA 1156.
Would it
Oh,
be
the 56. Okay.
Yeah, it's LGA 1156.
And no, I just can see him asking. The 55 doesn't fit.
No.
Totally different things. 1155, not 1156.
Let's see here. It is a 3.2 gigahertz dual core processor. Ouch.
So yeah, you might want to go up to the what, a 660. You could do an i5 660.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, those are all discontinued, so you are going to have to eBay a new processor.
Right.
But yeah, you can totally do that, though. And go with a quad-core system like that. Radeon 5450, again, you have to look inside, see what that's like. And the memory, of course, that all depend. Again, this actually depends on your motherboard, so you're going to have to CPU-Z that and see how much memory it actually supports. It may support up to 8 gigabytes. And do you have a 32 or 64-bit version of Windows? That's the other question. So, if you have a 32-bit version of Windows, you're going to have to get a 64-bit version of Windows. Sucks, but hey. Don't go with the i7, though, because if I recall, the i7 1156s had issues.
Yeah, and you really don't need
No.
the i unless you got. For most people, unless you're doing shit like high-end video or other heavy processing stuff, the i5 is going to be, even currently, the i5 is the best processor you really need for gaming or for any of the other stuff. Unless you're doing like needing Adobe After Effects or high-end shit like that, the i5's great. Will do you just fine.
And even those things get distributed to the graphics card by now.
And
Yeah.
also, the power supply. You're gonna need to look at the. Yeah, thank you for reminding me, Mumble. You're gonna need to look at the power supply because if you do go with a new graphics card, you may need a PCIe power rail, and your power supply may not provide that. So you may need to upgrade that too.
Unless he goes with one of the low end ones, even the new the 600 series low. I think it's like the 640, 650.
Yeah, if you go with the low end,
650.
well, yeah.
The 650, it'll be a big boost over the 5450. It won't cost you all that much, and it won't need a new power supply, which is good news.
Alrighty, let's move on to the next question here.
Okie day.
Sono Farrell asks, I have a Toshiba laptop and a decent amount of things are dying on it. The screen is going bad and the input for the power cord is damaged as well as it has overheating issues. I don't want to get a new one because even though it is a bit old, it still has some power behind it, 8 gigabytes of RAM and an i7 1.8 gigahertz processor. I was wondering if I could take care of most of these problems by taking the laptop apart and putting it into a desktop case. I have never done this before and I wanted to know if it was something that could be easily done.
No.
Not easily.
No.
Not easily at all.
Take the laptop apart and put it into a desktop case.
No.
You can do it.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but you can do it.
That's a hobby project.
Yes.
And not only
I've seen
that,
one.
it's not going to fix your main problem.
No.
Because you said the input for the power cord is damaged. You're still going to have the same motherboard. It's still going to need that same power cord, and it's still going to have that same input. So even putting it into a desktop case isn't going to make a damn bit of difference.
No. So that's not going to change the power cord being damaged. The overheating issues, you might be able to solve overheating issues by putting it in a desktop case and properly ventilating it. Might being the key word there.
Or
you could totally break it.
Or you could clean it out.
Well, you could clean it out, but here's the problem. When laptops experience overheating issues, I find generally that their tolerance levels, thresholds have been surpassed, and 9 times out of 10, they're probably damaged at the silicon level when they start to experience that stuff. So,
now, there is another solution here that is going to be the pain in the ass, but functional and probably will work solution. Replace the motherboard.
Yep. Which you can do. You can go on eBay and find the specific motherboard for your laptop.
Yep. Can do this, and like you said, it's a pretty i7's pretty hefty processor, 8 gigs of RAM. All the things that are on it right now. Now you will have to be willing to tear that laptop apart. You're going to have to find the service manual for it, figure out how to do it, but it is doable. Now the screen I'm concerned about. That may be a bad video card on the motherboard, maybe, or it could be the LCD, maybe, or it could
the cable.
Yeah, that cable, that flexible cable that goes from the motherboard to the screen.
Yeah, those flexible cables ain't as flexible as they like you to believe.
No.
Sadly.
What you're looking at here is a whole lot of fucking work.
Yes.
And any way you slice it. It all depends on what's more important to you, your money or your time.
Money or time. Money
And
is time.
If you're not comfortable with taking the thing apart, it might end up being your money and your time if you screw something up along the way. So, yeah, transferring it to... But you seem like you want to take it apart and put it in a desktop case, so you do seem comfortable taking it apart. Transferring it to a desktop case is not going to solve your problems. You need, likely, from everything you're describing, your best and first step would be replacing that motherboard.
Yeah, that first step, I think, is replacing that motherboard. I don't really see any other option at that point. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I would replace the motherboard first before I undertook like some hobbyist project to put it in a desktop case or something like that. All right, our next question comes from Formula Fox. I got 2 of them actually. My grandmother has been soldering on with Windows Vista. Took my uncle's 2 days to get it to cooperate, but it's worked okay for her since then. And since she doesn't need an overly powerful computer, we've opted not to buy her a new one this Christmas, but rather to increase the system's longevity by upgrading to Windows 7. Okay, we've got an update disk and license, and I would like to know if there's anything I need to know about the upgrade process to save the obviously backup everything matter.
Yes, don't upgrade.
He's already got the upgrade disk, though.
No. Don't do an upgrade installation.
Okay.
Do a
Back up
fresh
everything.
installation.
Do a fresh install.
Never, ever, 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 ever upgrade Windows. Ever. Never do this.
Never.
Because Microsoft, in their infinite wisdom, has made this stupid. Every time you upgrade your Windows installation from like Vista to 7 or 7 to 8, if you're a moron, things can linger. Little bits and pieces of things can linger, and once you've got the upgrade done, the new system will look at these lingering bits, get confused, and shit the bed.
Yeah,
it is
we were
always
talking about the registry earlier. That's the big one.
Oh yeah, it's always your best option to wipe it if you want to upgrade the OS. To wipe it and start over. That is always your absolute best option. It will work with the upgrade, because you have license keys for both. It will allow you to do this. Just don't use remnants of the old operating system. Might be more of a pain in the butt to do the upgrade, but I guarantee you will have less problems with it in the long run.
Well, less because it ends up being a driver issue, unfortunately. And that is just it's there's no getting away around it. It's a pain in the ass. It's just one of those things where, I mean, even upgrading in Linux, it's not even just Windows Full. Even upgrading in Linux. Now, I've changed my kernel out, but if I were to upgrade from, say, Debian Wheezy, which is the testing branch, to Debian Sarge, which is the very experimental branch, I'd have to do a whole system reinstall, because just all of the strange-ass configuration changes that happen, it's not worth it to just upgrade. Just back up everything and install new. Install fresh is the best way to go, I think. He has a second question. A couple months ago, I got myself a new off-the-shelf computer system to replace my aging pile of junk. I was in no position to build my own system, so I bought an HP desktop. I've had no major trouble with it, but I'm quite certain I could do a few things to optimize its performance. So, any tips for that? Any info on what built-in software I could just uninstall to optimize? If it helps, here's a link to the system so you can go look up the specs. Thank you. I did not pay $725 for that thing. I got it for about $650. Okay. Let's see. You got this for $650. It's out of stock. What are the details on it? Pavilion.
Not too bad.
64-bit 6-core processor, the FX6120, 3.5 gigahertz. 10 gigabytes of RAM, 2 terabytes SATA drive. $650 for that? That's not bad. You got CPU's the CPU FX, GeForce GT 620, a gigabyte of RAM. That's not bad. This is pretty good, actually. I mean, yeah, okay, fine. The FX series kind of sucks compared to the Intel series, but I mean, whatever. You got the Super Multi DVD burner, so that's nice. This is a nice machine.
Weird memory configuration, though.
Yeah, that's a strange 4 gigabytes by 2 and 2 gigabytes by 1. That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. Hey, it works.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of breaks dual channel.
Yeah, it does break dual
That's
channel.
the best thing you could do. Buy another 2 gigabyte stick.
Yeah, actually, no.
Together.
You know, best thing you could probably do for this thing is get rid of that 2 gigabyte stick and buy 2 4 gigabyte sticks.
Yeah.
Because this thing supports up to 32 gigabytes of memory, man. This is a nice. You know what, dude? This is a nice system for $650. I got to admit. All right, so in terms of oh god, that Honey Boo Boo picture. In terms of what you can get rid of in terms of the built-in software, go to add remove programs and start going down the fucking list, man. Just get rid of it all. It's not worth it. Anything that says HP multi-write, HP device support, just fucking shit can it and get rid of it, man. It's terrible stuff.
Or again, this is another case of wipe it clean and start over.
Mm-hmm. Clean it out and
don't use the HP software. In fact, here's a great idea. Use that CD you just got, that Windows 7 update CD. It'll work just fine with that key that's printed on the side of your HP Pavilion. Just take that Windows 7 and reinstall it completely fresh, and all those drivers that are on it are going to be standard drivers, NVIDIA driver, all that stuff. It'll come up in Windows Update, so yeah, just start it over.
If don't, you will find it on the HP website. Just type in your model number.
Yep, start it over.
You'll find the drivers there.
Oh, and if you do have Office on this machine, just copy down your Office key and reinstall Office too. But yeah, that's all you need. Start it over fresh. Because HP and all the other manufacturers, they put their own crap on there. Plus, they put on that hidden partition with the backup thing. You don't need it. Just format the drive completely fresh and install Windows 7 fresh, and you're good. You're golden.
Yeah, I just installed that Windows 7 fresh. I think it's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Hands down. Ishmo asks us this question. I currently own a Tandy SX1000, which is something like 25 years old at this point. I've always had a dream of removing the innards and replacing it with a modern machine, but keeping the case as is. The problem is I'm not even possible given the unique design of the ancient case. And even if I did do it, I still want to keep the current innards in some kind of functionality. Ooh, okay. So, here's a link to the picture of the machine. Someone else took them about the same, aside from the 3 1/4 inch floppy drive and the lack of hard drive. Boy, the Tandy 1000 SX, man, I remember this. Can you? So you want to keep it as a Tandy SX 1000 machine, but you want to put a modern machine inside of it? I say don't do it.
Well, there is a tiny option, and it's not yeah, that's what I'm about to say. It's not, it won't be super modern machine, but you could get a Raspberry Pi, slip it in the back, have all the connectors open on it.
Yeah, you know what? You could Raspberry Pi. That's actually a great option for the Raspberry Pi as a sort of a addendum machine. But if you were talking,
it'd be rattling around in there. But...
Yeah. Super glue it to the top of the fucking thing.
Yeah.
No, but if you were talking in terms of putting a modern machine in there, the reason I wouldn't recommend it is because of the heat output. The modern machine outputs a lot more heat than this machine ever did. And
also, you would have to find a power supply that would potentially fit in there, and a motherboard that would match up, and you'd have to do modifications to the case. You'd have to drill new screw holes, and
yeah, your best option there is micro ITX, if anything at all.
Or if you really want a retro one, are they still selling those Commodore 64 remakes?
Yeah, but they're really expensive.
They're expensive. Yeah, but I tell you, compare expensive to trying to retrofit this case to fit modern shit.
I don't know. I think the Raspberry Pi would work, or even that even that Minix thing I showed you guys earlier, the $70 Minix thing. If you crack that open, you could. I mean, this thing is made to be on a keychain dongle, so you can totally stick it in there and then run your wires however you want without damaging the case.
Yeah.
You could totally do that, and then keep the SX 1000 or the 1000 SX, I should say.
But if you wanted to put like a micro ATX in here and all that other stuff, you'd have to break out a drill.
Oh yeah, you'd have to break out a drill. You'd have to do some extensive modifications to it.
Metal shears, maybe, and just all kind. It would be a pain in your ass to do this.
It would be it would be a very rewarding project, but you'd also have to remember you're destroying basically a piece of history too when you do that. So I mean, you've got to balance that out. Do you not feel bad for doing that, or I mean, what are you going to do with the motherboard too? I mean, there's not exactly a whole lot of uses for the chips in there nowadays.
Yeah, so. That's the other thing. You're not okay. If you want to keep this working in another case, no, that's not going to happen. You can't pull this thing out and put it someplace else, because back in the day when they made this thing,
this was a specialty piece of hardware.
Right, everything was proprietary. There was no doing. Yeah, it works one way in one thing, and you're done. So you would have a much easier time. Leave this in one piece.
Although you do have to admit, looking at it, comparing this to modern motherboards, this is a very, very clean system. Oh, yeah. Very clean piece of engineering. It's very,
they
very
don't make
nifty.
them like they used.
No, they don't make them like this anymore.
No, they make them multi-layered.
Oh yeah, they make a multi-layered and a pain in the ass to deal with. But
honestly, you know what? I would recommend not fucking with this one and eBaying a broken one.
Yeah, you know what? Get a broken one and do that instead.
Yeah, get a broken one and fuck that case up all you like. And try, if you want to do a micro ATX and try and cut it and drill it and do all that shit. Yeah, get a busted one off eBay and go to town.
Yeah, try that instead. Don't fuck this up. This is too beautiful.
Yeah,
it's too much history. I don't know if it's really working that well. I can't bring my heart to destroy it. Just like it's a piece of history. I feel bad. Alrighty, let's move on to Kiroto Subasa's question. Since I am the IT guy in my house, I usually have asked about computer issues, usually about how to get online or to fix the router. Currently, my dad has been complaining about problems with his new quote-unquote PC, which is his late 2000, early 2001 Dell PC. It's very new. The first thing I did was to check the C drive and see if there were bad clusters or anything. No noticeable difference, so I decided to defrag the system again. No noticeable difference. Then I figured his problem may be that it needed more RAM, so I installed Piriform Speccy, which is informed me that he had 1 GB dual-channel DDR1 RAM. Woo! Went to Amazon, Got 2 gigabytes of DDR RAM for him. I removed the old RAM sticks and replaced them with the new ones and wouldn't go to post. Suffice to say that after configuring the RAM for a bit, I managed to get to post by quad channeling with 3 gigabytes of RAM.
Yeah.
This is the kicker. It only acknowledged 1.5 gigabytes of RAM. Thought maybe I needed to go to the BIOS and I realized that there was 3 gigabytes of RAM. I did, but still only acknowledges 1.5 gigabytes. Outside of this system not being able to quad channel, if that is the case, why did it make it to post? Or the DIMMs dying, is there anything I did wrong?
You got a bad slot.
You got a bad slot or you got a bad stick?
Yeah.
One or the
Or
other.
your motherboard doesn't support 2 gigabyte sticks.
Or your mother doesn't support 2 gigabyte sticks.
DDR was kind of a bit tricky there.
DDR is still kind of tricky, but...
If you know the model number of the Dell, let us know, because that might help us figure it out. But if it's a 2000 or 2001, we're talking about a...
We're talking about a system that could still run Windows 95 games relatively well.
Yeah, we're talking about a 12 to 13-year-old computer.
We're talking about the Tandy 1000SX as being an ancient computer. This is on the cusp of being ancient. We're talking about you're honestly talking about specialty hardware at this point in terms of computers. So it's a bit of a problem. It's acknowledging 1.5 gigs of RAM. It might be a motherboard limitation.
That is never good.
No.
Or here's another possibility. DDR, the original, not everything was wonderfully compatible with everything. Sometimes you'd get a stick of DDR.
Yeah, actually, going back in the days, I remember your timings might be off too.
Yep.
And that would be a problem.
Yep.
Yeah, DDR sticks you couldn't really just stick in. You had to have the specific timings to work right as well. So.
Yeah, we've gotten memory to the point where it's more or less plug and play. And even if you plug in stuff that doesn't work right, your computer will look at it, downgrade it to where everything's working together, and you're all good to go. Back then, no.
It's still kind of the same way nowadays, though.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, if you get 2 sticks of, say, PC 1800 and 2 sticks of PC 1633,
They'll still, they'll work.
The computer will look and go, okay, 1800, you're going to work at the same speed as 1633, and everybody's happy, and we're all good. Yeah, so it'll downstep it.
Yeah, it could step down. Yeah, oh boy, you know what? We're gonna need more information on this one. We're gonna need specific model information, maybe even specific numbers from the motherboard too. It may also be that the motherboard doesn't support more than 1.5 gigabytes of memory too. I mean, there's a lot of funky things that happened when DDR1 was first introduced.
And not only that, if it's 2000, 2001, they didn't always support. I've got a 2002, and I think the most RAM it will support is 4 gigabytes, and that's a laptop. So,
well, that was the upper end. That's the upper end of 32-bit. So.
Oh no, I'm sorry. The most my laptop will take, the old laptop will take, is 2 gigs. Sorry.
Yep.
The oldest machine I have, which is in my dad's room right now, my mom's room, is a 1997 PC, 7 or 8, something like that. It's got Windows 98 on it. But it originally had Windows 95 on it, and the most memory it will take is 512 megabytes of RAM.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Who needs more than 640 kilobytes?
You know, to be quite fair, I mean, my coffee maker has a clock on it. Does that really need 640 kilobytes of memory?
True.
Sir Blackadder has a question for us. It's interesting. Since I know that at least 2 of you garnered some experience in video podcasting, I was hoping you could give me a little advice concerning digital video production. Okay. I am working as a lecturer at a large German university. I've gotten into screencasting my lectures a while ago. Up until now, I only recorded my desktop along with voiceovers, but my students have started asking to put the speaker's head into the video. I don't know why. Maybe they want to mock you. Ever think about that? Sorry. I spilled shit on my keyboard. I apologize. This is what I get for having food near me. Hence, we already rigged up a small video studio with a semi-pro lighting, green screen, and stuff. The only thing missing is a decent camera. This is where your advice would be greatly appreciated. The camera should be able to, quote, record 720p and 1080p material, store on-flash memory of some sort, no disks, work well under suboptimal lighting conditions, particularly low light, in case we need to use an actual classroom environment. Interesting needs. Any recommendations in terms of a camera? Price is not that much of an issue. We could spend around $2,000. Can you recommend a good camera model for that?
Oh.
Yeah, I can recommend several good cameras.
All right, now, first off, depending on how long you're going to be recording, don't get a DSLR.
Yeah, usually German lectures are 1.5 hours.